Item 11, notices of motion. 11.1, City of Sydney recognition of and support for Australian South Sea Islanders.
Councillor Ellsworth.
Davis.
Sorry, Councillor Davis.
Thanks, Lord Mayor. Thank you, Lord Mayor, and thank you, fellow...
I'm getting the Nelda mixed up with Ellsworth. So.
Too many E's.
Yes.
Thank you, Lord Mayor, and thank you to fellow councillors and all staff for the support in bringing this historical and important note of motion to Council, calling for recognition of and support of Australian South Sea Islanders. Prior to the Council meeting commencing, Councillor Ellsworth submitted a minor amendment to this motion, which I am happy to accept as a variation. Thank you for your input, Councillor Ellsworth. Today is a proud moment for me as Chair of Australian South Sea Islanders Port Jackson.
Councillor Davis, can you just tell us what the amendment is? Because if you accept it, it becomes part of the motion.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I haven't got that in front of me. I know it's about the city committing to Recognition Day. Here it is. Sorry. The amendment is commits to formally acknowledge Australian South Sea Islander Recognition Day on the 25th of August from 2022 onwards.
Thank you. So that's been accepted by Councillor Davis, so that is now part of the motion.
Yes, it has. Thank you. Today is a proud moment for me as Chair of Australian South Sea Islanders Port Jackson. It is also an important day for our founding elders, many who have been City of Sydney residents for well over 40 years of their working lives. I've been privileged to know and be mentored by these resilient civil rights activists, people such as Auntie Faith Bandler from my childhood, Auntie Phyllis Corowa, Uncle Robert Corowa, Auntie Marg and Uncle Alan Togo, Auntie Shireen Malamu, Dr. Benita Marbo, Auntie Carriet Pangus, Uncle Graham Mooney, Pastor Ray Minnicon, Auntie Avis Degara and Uncle Victor Corowa, and of course my mother, Nellie Inaris. These elders and Australian South Sea Islander organisations such as the Tweed Heads Association, Pacific Communities Heads of Mission and broader Sydney community have paved the way for so many of us to stand here today, not only as women in politics, but also as representatives of our distinct cultural groups. This year, on August the 25th, it is 175 years since New South Wales entrepreneur Benjamin Boyd trafficked some 200 Melanesian men from the island states of New Caledonia and Vanuatu to slave alongside Indigenous and Maori men on his whaling industries in Eden, New South Wales. In the ACPJ cultural calendar, this date is referred to as Australian South Sea Islander Recognition Day. The city has an opportunity to lead here. There is a need for greater awareness and understanding of Australian South Sea Islanders, and Recognition Day and the 175th anniversary is a historical moment in time to start an important dialogue amongst us all, staff, executive, councillors and community. I am grateful for the opportunity to submit a very detailed notice of motion, which not only calls for support and recognition, but which also puts on the record Sydney and New South Wales involvement in what was a shameful shared history. By telling this story, it speaks to truth. I hope that after reading the papers and learning a bit more about this story, history and lived experience of Australian South Sea Islander community, you will be happy to support the motion before you today. It is about greater understanding, education and healing for our communities. Thank you, Lord Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Davis. So do we have other speakers?
Just need a seconder, Lord Mayor.
I'm happy to second that.
Thank you.
And Councillor Davis, we are a very diverse community, and it's one of the things we're most proud of. We're proud of the fact that we consider ourselves to be, very diverse and also very inclusive. And of course, we have people who have come from right around the world living in our country now. The difference between all of them and your community that you're recognising in this way today is that they chose, all those people chose to come, and your forebears were brought as slaves against their will, and that is the most shocking part of the historical record of Australia. And so it's really very important that we are recognising this and telling the story and leading to better understanding for all of the peoples of Australia. I always say that I'm really so happy that Lunar New Year enables, our Asian communities who live here now to tell their story so that the rest of us can appreciate it and appreciate their culture and their arts. And that's been a great tradition for us here in the City of Sydney. But, the story of the South Sea Islanders is not well known, I don't think, generally. And this is a real opportunity to ensure that people do come know their history and respect the contribution that has been made by the descendants of those people that were brought here as slaves initially.
Thank you, Lord Mayor.
Very important part of our history, and we appreciate you telling it and moving this motion, which it must be quite hard for you to do too. To talk.
It is. It's been a long time.
So thank you for doing that, and we hope we will be able to do justice to what you're asking for.
Thank you.
Deputy Lord Mayor.
Thank you, Lord Mayor, and thank you, Councillor Davis, for bringing this motion. It's a really important motion to the City of Sydney. I have had the honour of representing the city at some of the recognition days on August 25 over the years, and also of attending Sugarfest and over the years as well. And while they are somber events in some moments, they're also joyous events because they're about reconnecting and truth-telling and community. And I've been, appalled at my own ignorance about the grim reality of this chapter of Australian history, and the way that this story extends right to the waterfront here at the City of Sydney with the old sugar refineries at CSR in Pyrmont. This is a history that laps up right on our shores and that continues through the communities of the City of Sydney today. And yet, as the Lord Mayor said, there isn't wide enough knowledge about this history, this really shameful chapter in Australian history. And so I want to commend and thank Councillor Davis for her leadership and courage in truth-telling and for getting results for Australia to own its up to this moment in history and to look in the mirror and to set the record straight. Recently getting the Queensland government, for example, to apologise for the slave trade, and now the debate that has been kicked off about the naming of places like the Ben Boyd National Park. These are conversations that need to be had more broadly in Australia about who we've named a lot of things after, but it's really, really important that this part of our history and some of these shameful names are also changed, and some of these histories are given context and rewritten. So thank you, Councillor Davis, for bringing this motion, and thank you for teaching all of us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Lord Mayor. So I'll put the motion to you. All those in favour say
Councillor Scott, Lord Mayor, I think there's a few more speakers. Councillor Scott.
Did you have a hand up, Councillor Scott?
I had a physical hand.
Oh, I didn't see it. I'm sorry. There we are.
Happy to take your guidance about whether
I'd rather the physical hand, but I missed it that time. Never mind.
Electronic is best. It's very physical. I just wanted to place also on record my strong support for this motion and thank Councillor Davis for bringing this. I think it is a topic that Australia has yet to grapple with to ensure that enough Australians know the history of our own nation. And I acknowledge the long-standing advocacy that you have done before you were elected to this council, and of course now as an elected councillor, in putting forward the history of your people and your family and so many others, and helping Australians understand. I'm very honoured to be part of a council that we hope can do more to recognise the need for more education and awareness of your ancestors and people who have come to this nation under circumstances that can be called nothing else but slavery. So we're grateful for putting to this notice of motion, which I know follows on from the huge amount of other advocacy that you've done before your time on this council, although I'm confident that it's a key reason for why you were selected and elected here. So thank you for what you've done. It's really significant. It'll be the first of many significant things that you contribute.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Scott. Do I have other speakers?
Councillor Weldon, Lord Mayor.
Councillor Weldon.
Thank you, Lord Mayor. I am supportive of this motion and more broadly the recognition of Australian South Sea Islanders who, just like my people, suffered grave injustices under British rule and colonial behaviours. I am glad to see this recognition addressed in a standalone motion rather than the co-opted for the Closing the Gap framework. To do so would be inappropriate and also offensive. I am supportive of the recognition of the Australian South Sea Islander communities, but not when it doesn't come at the expense of the first people of this continent. In terms of my people, we've always stood to ensure that the South Sea Islander people have been recognised. I've recently received the paper by Professor Tom Calmer, AO, who actually, when he was the Social Justice Commissioner and also Race Commissioner, he actually provided a keynote address on the 26th of August 2004 to actually recognise and give support to the Australian South Sea Islanders. As Professor Calmer had advised, is that they are the South Sea Islanders, their own ethnic group in their own right, just as many others that have come here, the Chinese, the Greek, Fijian, Papua New Guineans and others. So I look forward to Council and Council endorsing this motion, and certainly I would like to take part in the recognition day that Council would put forward on behalf of all Australian South Sea Islanders.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Councillor Weldon. So I'll put the
Councillor Ellsmore, Lord Mayor.
Councillor Ellsmore.
Just one quick small comment. I also wanted to thank Councillor Davis for bringing the motion forward and also for her generosity in, I've worked in Aboriginal affairs for a long time and I was aware of some of the history, but like some of the other councillors, so far to come in Australia telling the truth about, particularly as white people, where we've come. And there's so many monuments to industry and random British white guy across our city that name things, as Councillor Scully mentioned, but much more articulately than I just said it. So there's so much work to do here, and I'm very proud to be part of a council where I'm led by such strong women, including yourself, and that I know you're in a position to lead us through what is going to be a series of learnings over a long period of time to make our community stronger and more full of truth. And it's not going to be easy, as we all acknowledge. It's one of many conversations, but I'm very thankful that you'll be leading us through that. So thank you, Councillor. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you.
So I'll put the motion to you. All those in favour say aye.
It's carried unanimously.
Carried unanimously. So congratulations, Councillor Davis.
Item 11.2, Moore Park Road Temporary Cycleway.